Hey folks, I'm Red and this is my Watcher of Realms channel, and in this video I wanted to talk to you a little bit about tournaments. Here I am on my free-to-play Aracha account, and you can see I have won the Oracle's Trial. And on my main account I have actually done the same. This Oracle's Trial happened to be the Vault in the Sands, so Gear Raid 2, and I managed to get first place in each of these tournaments. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some strategies that you can use to win the tournaments. Okay, so this is the free-to-play account, and I'll just show you the screenshot that I took about 5.5 hours before the tournament ended, and you can see that I'm much lower in the rankings. I'm at rank 3. So I saw that there's this disparity, right, in number of points, but there were a few things that I knew that I could do. I was farming Gear Raid 2 Stage 10, so I could get some mythic gear. So the minimum number of points that I would get would be legendary, right? So for every run, I would get 15 points. And it's just a simple matter of doing math, and I saw that there was basically no movement in the top spot. So there's an opportunity here for me to farm Gear Raid 2 and get enough points to get that first slot, okay? And those 5 crystals are quite valuable. So a couple things to keep in mind is that there's a difference here between events and tournaments. In events, you do X and you get Y. Okay, so whether that's farming Gear Raid or doing artifact material raid or various other things, once you've completed those tasks and gotten enough points, you get the event rewards, which is really nice. And there's no competition, right? It's just what you can do with the resources that you have. With tournaments, you do X and you get Y, and usually the rewards are fewer, but you also have the opportunity to beat other players and get Z. So Z happens to be usually a lot of crystals. That's usually the top reward. There may be other rewards depending on the tournament. So both of these kind of events require resources to complete, but tournaments require extra resources if you want to compete. So there's 2 basic strategies for winning a tournament. And the first is to be the first out of the gate. So go hard from the beginning, build up an insurmountable lead, and no one can catch you. The second strategy, which is what I employ typically, is to wait and see who's trying to compete, and then try and snag the win in the last 24 hours, or in my case, the last 5 hours. So this requires a few things. You need to know what levels you can farm, how fast you can farm them, and how much energy you have that you can spend on farming. And this may require spending some diamonds to get extra energy, or just saving your resources for the right tournament. So these are my recommendations for you. Is first to pick your tournaments. Know which kinds of gear raids and which other areas of the game you can score the most points. Once you know that, like I can only do artifact material raid 11, I'm not really going to be competing in the artifact material raid tournament. Now, I could do Gear Raid 2 because I can get legendary gear at a minimum. The other thing is when you're farming, you may be able to farm Gear Raid Stage 21, which gives you the best gear, but you get the same amount of points for any of the gear on Gear Raid 21 as you would for Gear Raid 18. So if you're really trying to win the tournament, you probably want to run Gear Raid 18 because that'll be a lot faster than doing a Gear Raid 21. The other thing is that now they've introduced background fights, and background fights make it faster to run a dungeon. Now that they don't give you as much XP apparently as normal runs, but they're faster, and so you can actually get more resources and catch up to people who are ahead of you if they are not consistently farming toward the end of the tournament. The other thing is to time your runs. So know how long it takes you to actually do a run in a gear raid or artifact material raid or whatever it is. And once you know that, then you can basically do the math and figure out how many points you need to be at the top, and maybe how many points of lead you need in order to maintain your spot. So one thing I figured out was that if at 2 hours left in the tournament, I had, say, 1,600 points more than the next person, then I would win. So I wouldn't need to farm when there were only 2 hours left if I had that number of points. So these are all things to consider. And again, as free-to-play, you kind of have to use what resources you have. And so I will often sit out several tournaments in a row so I can build up enough large stamina potions to be able to compete without using gems or diamonds as resources. Those are my recommendations, and hopefully this is helpful for you and you're able to also win some of your tournaments and get those nice rewards, those crystals and other things. Thanks a lot. Please like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.